Hi guys, I'm Missy, and if you're new here, welcome, and if you're returning, welcome back. So we're just going to dive right into the video. This is another installment in my monthly makeup series. So I'm going to tell you my final thoughts about all of the Roulette picks for the month of July. So first off, let's get started, and we'll talk about the primer that was picked. So I kind of have two primers, a bit in a way. So the face primer is from Essence, and this is their Magic Filter Glow Booster in the shade 10 Light. So this is kind of like a multi-use product. You can use it as like a glowy primer, which is how I used it. You can kind of mix it in with your foundation, or you can use it as like a liquid highlight type of thing. So I really like this. I do think it does give good coverage, and it is very glowy, which I love for under my foundations. My only concern about this is I don't really feel comfortable putting it on my face anymore because it kind of smells very funky. It smells like it's gone bad, kind of like my e.l.f. Halo Glow ones did to me, where it kind of smells like rotten eggs almost. This kind of smells like that too, so I'm guessing it's a very similar formula. So unfortunately, I think I'm gonna have to let this go just simply because of that, but I did like how it performed. So the other primer that was chosen is also from Essence, and this is the Jelly Grip Under Eye Primer Stick. I really like this. This does a good job of prepping my under eyes for concealer, and I've noticed that when I use it, it makes my concealer look a lot smoother. It doesn't look kind of crepey or anything, so I love it for that. And in this stick form, it's very easy to apply. So yeah, I'm definitely enjoying this. Going to keep it in my collection. I think it'll end up getting moved probably out to my desk to use from now on. It does have this little like cap to go over it, but for some reason it's not going back on today. I don't know why. I'll have to figure that out. But very nice product. Okay, so continuing on, the next step that I do in my routine are my brows. And so the brow pen that was chosen is from Melt. This is their Perfectionist Ultrafine Brow Pen in the shade Universal Brown. I like this. I don't like it on its own though. I have discovered with my brows, because where I have very, very thin, almost non-existent brows, I really need a pencil to kind of draw on my shape and fill in the majority of my brow, but then go in with something like this to put some more brow-like hair strokes inside with the pencil. So where this is not a one and done brow product for me, unfortunately, I do like it when paired with brow pencils. So there is that. If you have pretty decent brows though, and you want to just kind of tint them and darken them up depending on the shade, this is Universal Brown. So it's like, it's a little darker than most browns that I consider being universal, so I do like it for that. But if you want like a really, really dark brow, I don't think you're going to really want it. But I do think it would work better for someone that has more brow hairs than I do. But very nice product. So I chose the NYX Brow Glue for my brow gel because I have successfully, with the monthly makeup series, Roulette series, I have used all of my brow gels in my collection so far. And I wanted to try this again because I did like it. When I first used it, I had two, and basically I'd use like half of each tube up. So I just kind of combined it all into one tube, right? So technically I used up one whole brow gel that way. So I have this one left. So I tried using this first to kind of like shape my brow, and then go in with the Melt Perfectionist brow. That did not work very well for me. As you'll see in one of the shorts, I had to fix my brows. So I had to bring in one of my microfine brow pencils to fix it, and kind of take concealer and stuff to shape the brow better. I feel like if you have very thick, kind of stubborn brows, you would really love this. But I feel like it's just way too strong for my preferences. It's not super sticky like some of the brow gels I've used, but it's also still too thick for me. So I think my next declutter on my brow products, this is most likely going to end up going. Not that it's a bad product, it's just more of a personal preference of how I like my brow gels now, and this is just too thick for me. Okay, so then let's continue. Well, before I continue on face products, let's go with the lip balm that was chosen. This is from, I believe, yeah, Taste Beauty. This is their Strawberry Shortcake collection, and it's the raspberry flavored lip balm. I really like these. It has a nice raspberry flavor to it. A raspberry scent, I should say. And raspberry flavor too. One thing I'm noticing though is if I use these a lot, they start to dry out my lips, which is not what I want to happen. So I feel like I'm becoming more of a fan of like the new kind of like Road Beauty-esque lip products, where they're like, they have peptides and stuff in it. I feel like those work better for hydrating my lips, whereas these tend to dry out my lips if I use them too much. Now, I do like it. I do feel like it feels really nice on the lips, and I love the scent and everything, but yeah. I'll probably continue to keep them in my collection for, you know, those moments where I just need a little something on my lips, but to continuously use it like on a daily basis throughout the month, I'm not going to do that with these, which will take me a lot longer to get through them, unfortunately, that way. But yeah, it is what it is, because I don't want to dry out my lips. That defeats the purpose of using a lip balm. Okay, so now back to face products. So the foundation that was chosen is actually from Sephora, and I did a full face of Sephora, and I specifically bought this foundation for that. This is their Best Skin Ever foundation, and I have the shade 20 in. So when I first tried this in that video, I wasn't a big fan of it. I felt like it emphasized a little too much of my fine lines, wrinkles, and texture. Now that I have used it a lot more, I actually really love this foundation, but I have learned that I have to use the teeniest amount because it is so full coverage. So when I use just, it's literally like less than a dime size amount that I use, and then I spread it out with a brush on my little foundation palettes, and I coat my brush, and then I go in and I go very like, very light-handed, applying it onto my face, and then I go over and with a sponge and kind of blend it out, and it looks beautiful on the skin that way. So yeah, if you kind of had the same issue I had when first trying it, maybe try either, you could probably thin it out with a moisturizer too if you want even less coverage. But yeah, I've just discovered it has really good coverage, but I have to use a little amount. So try that if you have it and maybe you didn't like it. So yeah, definitely one I'll be continuing to use. All right, so then the cream bronzer that was chosen, this is from Ace Beauté. This is their Sculpt and Define Contour Stick. I got this in Ipsy. I love this. And this is a perfect little size. Obviously, you know, it's a mini for travel. but I've been using it pretty consistently through the month, and I still have a decent amount left in here because I don't really need that much to use it because it's a decent pigment and it is so easy to blend. It is so creamy and just the perfect kind of warm, well, it's not really warm, let me rephrase, it's more of like that perfect neutral cream contour bronzer stick for me, and I love it. I will definitely continue to use this. Alright, so the liquid blush that was chosen is from Beauty Creations and their My Little Pony collab, and this is the Main Event blush stick in the shade Best Friends. So this is it looks like it would be a hot pink, right? And it has kind of like a white center. Well, it did. No, you know, it's kind of like mixed together now because I've used it so much. Again, a beautiful blush. It is one of these that is actually pretty tame in the color. It doesn't look like it would be. It looked like it would be like a bright Barbie pink, but it's not. You could definitely get it to that by building it, but it is a nice buildable formula. And I still have a decent amount in here to use, but yeah. Blends really easy, gives a nice little like hydrated glow to the skin because of that little like, I guess it's like a highlighting moisture stick in the middle. So yeah. And of course, you know, the nostalgia of My Little Pony I love as well. But really nice formula. Love this. Okay, so the cream highlighter is from ColourPop. This is one of their older light sticks. This is the shade Flying High. So initially I liked this a decent amount. But the more I've used it, the more I've noticed it tends to leave glittery reflex on the face, which you guys know I'm not a huge fan of anything that does that. And I have some cream stick formulas that I like better that give me more of a glow to the skin. That's how much I have left. But yeah, I don't think this one is going to survive my next declutter simply because I don't like the glitter that it left behind on my face. So yeah, I'm surprised that I feel that way about it, but this is where these videos have really been helping me, because sometimes like initial thoughts like the foundation I didn't like but now I love, or this initial thoughts I liked it but now not so much, you know. So yeah, really enjoy ColourPop's stick blushes and contours and highlighters and all that. This specific shade's just not for me. Okay, so then we have the concealer that was chosen, and this is from Mo Beauty, and this is the Mo covered concealer. I have the shade F4 Light. You guys know I am super picky about my concealers. I haven't so far found anything that compares to the Tarte Shape Tape. This is actually really good coverage. I actually kind of like this more, honestly, than the Tarte Shape Tape, because the Tarte Shape Tape can look a little heavy if you put a bit too much. This gives more of like a hydrated under eye look, and it's smooth. So yeah, I think I'm gonna say it, yeah, this has pretty much surpassed my Tarte Shape Tape. So I would definitely repurchase this. I got this from Ipsy, and I love it. This is why I like Ipsy, because I never would have thought to try this brand because I'd never heard of them before. But yeah, I'm so glad I got it because I really love it. Okay, continuing on with face products. So we have our powder bronzer, and this is a mini that I got a long time ago. I don't think I got this in Ipsy. I think I got this like with a purchase from Beautylish or something like that. I can't remember exactly. I know it didn't come from Ipsy. So this is just kind of like a little sample size, but I tell you, this little bit has lasted me, I don't know how long now, because I've had it a while, And yeah, I mean, I don't use it every single day, but I mean, it's pigmented enough that it gives good coverage, but it's not overly pigmented that you can't blend it. I mean, it's popular for a reason. It was that girl for a long time. So yeah, definitely going to continue using. Love it. Beautiful neutral shade for me. Easy to blend. You know, really helps if like I have a cream bronzer that's too light and then this puts over top of it, always fixes it. Which was not the case this time, because this and the Ace Beauté actually pair really, really nice together. So if you're looking for a nice neutral bronzer combo and you're like light to medium depending on the brands and the shade ranges, I think you'd really like this. But yeah, love it. Love them both. Definitely going to continue to use. So the blushes that were chosen, so the single blush that was chosen is from Tarte, and this is the shade Timeless. So this one, let's see if I can get it open. It's just a very nice kind of like cool toned, I'll say light pinky brown. So when I wanted to tone down my blush that was a little more vibrant pink, which I'll show you in a second, this really, really came in handy to do that. I like it on its own too, as a everyday kind of like, it almost gives a no makeup kind of blush to it if you use it on its own. But it definitely is a good color if your blush is a little too bright for your liking to top over top of it. So yeah, definitely going to continue to keep. I like the Tarte blushes. They're easy to work with. I don't have any problem with them. Super blendable. Some are way more pigmented than others in the newer collection. But yeah, there's that. So then the face palette that was chosen, and this is from Revolution Beauty or Makeup Revolution. So this is kind of like a dupe to the One Size Beauty blush palette. So this is the Icon blush in Hot Pink Flag. So as you can see, you have a cream. This is a really nice pink cream. It's not super bright or anything like that. Then you have the powder blush. So the powder blush is pretty pigmented, and that's where the Tarte blush came in, because I went a little too heavy-handed when I first tried this for the monthly videos, so I had to tone it down, and that's where this one came in handy to go over top. So I will say it's a nice formula. They are nice. I just have to go light-handed into this one, otherwise it's too pigmented for me. And then I use this as a glowy topper for the blush. So yeah, but the cream formula, powder formula, and the highlighter slash glowy blush formula performs really, really nicely. And I honestly prefer this one over the One Size one I had. I didn't get to use my One Size one all that much because unfortunately the cream started growing mold all of a sudden for some reason. I don't know why that happened. I've never had that happen before, but apparently I've seen other people have that issue with the product. So far I'm okay with this one. That's just kind of like brush strokes that are in there. But yeah, nice and pretty affordable brand, so definitely gonna continue to use. Okay, so then the highlighter that was chosen is from Girl Lactic, and this is their Skin Glow in the shade Moonlight. So you have two putty highlighters here. As you can see, this is pretty well loved, especially this side here has got a little bit more of a dip. I love this as like everyday highlighter. I like to pair them together. I like to use them separately. I mean, it's just gorgeous on the skin. It gives that nice, beautiful glow that I prefer, and I love the texture. It's not like super creamy, but it's also not super powdery as well. But as you can see, they just give that nice little glow to the skin. So pretty. Love this product. And Galactic is another one of those brands I would have never discovered had I not got Ipsy. So, yeah. Yeah, I think that one came in Ipsy. There was one I think I got in Ice Cream Beauty Box, which I no longer get. But yeah, moving on though. So the setting powder that was chosen was my NYX High Glass Finishing Powder. You guys know how I feel about this if you've been watching my channel. I mean, look at that pan. I just keep expanding on it because I love this. This is one of my favorite finishing powders. I don't use it as a setting powder, okay? Because it doesn't set down your face and control the oil. So I do have to use a setting powder to set my under eyes and to set my T-zone because I'm oily combo. But you guys know I love a glowy finish to my face. So I do a lot of layering with some mattifying and then glowy to combat certain areas of my face. So to finish off my face and to bring back that final like glowy look other than a glowing setting spray, I use this. This is like my final step of before setting spray, obviously, to bring back the glow on my face, and I love it. It does a great job. Unfortunately, this is no longer carried by NYX. They discontinued it. I do have, I think, 2 backups that I was able to buy at Big Lots when they were going out of business in my area. So yeah, I do have that, but as you can see, I love this product, so I will be sad when I finish it. I do have the e.l.f. version of the pressed that I bought, and I did have the loose, but I decluttered it because I prefer a pressed powder for my glowy powders. So yeah, definitely love these. Definitely going to continue to use this in my collection because this is a staple product for me. Okay, and then we have the setting spray. So this is the ColourPop No Filter Setting Mist, and I see why a lot of people complained about this one and why they ended up in mystery boxes. You can see the product settles, right? And it sticks to the bottle because this has been laying, you know, down in my drawer here, right? So you have to like really, really shake it up, and even then some of it still sticks to the side. Like, see, I just really shook it, but it's still sticking. It does perform nicely, but it is annoying to have to keep continuing to like shake it and get it to kind of mixed properly, and I kind of like have to tap it like this, as you can see, to get it to let loose. Initially my sprayer was broken, but then I was able to fix it. So, and you can see in one of the videos, you see me kind of struggling with it first, but then it started working. So I don't know what was up with that, with it, because it worked before in the past. I'm wondering if it's because the product gets kind of thick that it gets stuck and stops up the nozzle, maybe. I do prefer the Pretty Fresh setting spray over this one. Now, they both don't really do much for setting down my face and holding back oil. These act more as a hydrating finishing spray for me, like a MAC Fix Plus type of thing. So that's how I keep them in my collection and use them that way. But I do have to top with a setting spray that I know is going to have hold. What I've been doing is some of the products that I've been needing to use up that are kind of close to being empty, I'll pair it with that. So I've been pairing kind of these two together, and they work really well. So yeah, so I finish off with this one for, you know, longevity. But if I know I'm just going to be kind of hanging around the house and things like that, I'll just use something like this. But yeah, like I said, I prefer the Pretty Fresh one over this one simply because of where it is annoying to have to sit here and kind of get it to break loose and have to keep tapping the side of the spray to do that. Okay. So let's move on. I think we are ready to get into eye products here. So again, I chose my eye primer for this month because with the monthly roulette, I have successfully used every single eye primer in my collection. So I decided to use the AOA Studio Shadow Saver again, and I have the shade Light. They do have different shades, even darker shades, if you're interested. This is, I think, it's either $1 to $2, somewhere in that range. And because Shop Miss A is pretty affordable, although they have been starting to carry like higher price stuff, I noticed as well. But I will tell you, I love this. This works really well. It has nice pigmentation on the lids, and it blends out so easy, and it is lasting a good while for me. So yeah, I mean, this pretty much is equivalent to like my ABH and my Glam Light, which costs way more than this. So yeah, I love this. I'll continue to use it, and I would definitely repurchase again. And then I also used the Gourmand Girls Glitter Primer, because you guys, if you don't know by now, I like to apply glitter primers to help my shimmers not just stick, but also it gives them like the extra pop they need. So I like the Gourmand Girls Glitter Primer. It is nice. I will say I'm not a fan of these tube applicators. I will say hers is much better than the NYX ones, because I've had 3 of the NYX ones, and every single time this part always snaps in half. I don't have that issue with her packaging, but I do prefer more of the doe foot applicator like Bella Beauté Bar has, as opposed to this tube. But this is more of like a kind of clear gel consistency, as opposed to the NYX Glitter Glue, which is more like a creamy kind of white shade. And then the Bella Beauté Bar is a lot more thin than this. This is more like a sticky gel type of consistency, but it works really well. So nice product. The eyeliner that was chosen is from Odin's Eye, and this is from their Solmane collection, and this is the shade 004. I believe it's Mint, I believe is the shade. I like these to an extent. Once I can get them to apply to my waterline, they are gorgeous, they are beautiful, they are vibrant, and they stay all day. But I've had a problem with every single one of these of when I first try to apply them to the waterline, they don't want to stick. I literally have to kind of warm it up on the back of my hand first, and sometimes that works, but sometimes it doesn't. And I don't know, I'm on the fence of whether these are going to stay in my collection or not, just simply because I don't have that issue with my ColourPop or my LA Girl or my Essence ones. So yeah, I've got enough eyeliners that I don't feel like I need to keep trying to work at it. Now, if I was just going to use it as like lining my under eye instead of like my waterline, I think it would work better. I don't know why. I don't know if it just doesn't mesh well with like the liquid in my waterline, because I'm someone who doesn't like dry it off with a Q-tip beforehand. So I don't need to do that with my other ones, so I don't feel like I should have to work that hard to apply it. So yeah, that's my only critique of these so far, and I've used like 3 of them now, and all 3 have done the same thing. So yeah, it's unfortunate because they are nice, they are pigmented, and they do stay once they're applied. Okay, so let's do the single shadow. This is from ColourPop. This is one of their Super Shocks, and this is the shade Sure Thing. I love this shade. This shade is so pretty. I actually got complimented on this look because all I did was wear this on my lid with a little bit of bronzer, and then I put this in the waterline and under the lash line and blended it out with a little bit of this, and I got complimented when I went to lunch that day. So yeah, I mean, it's beautiful. I love kind of like tealy shades anyways, and I usually tend to get complimented when I wear blues because it makes my eyes kind of come off like they're more green, but they kind of have a bluish green to them. So sometimes when I wear blue, it brings out the blue part of my eye more than the green part, if that makes any sense. So I think that's kind of why it gets me compliments. But yeah, really nice formula. Love it. Performs well. Definitely keeping in my collection. Okay, so the eyeshadow palette is another one from Moonlight Beauty, and this is the Moonshake palette. I got this, I believe this was an Ice Cream Beauty box one. And this, if you're looking for a nice, like, warm neutrals, even some cool tones. Hold on one second here. Alright, so if you're looking for a palette that kind of gives you your warm tones, your neutrals, your cool tones, even kind of like your rosy kind of shades, this is a nice palette. It does have a nice big mirror in it as well. Here's the thing for me. I have a big collection, and I have a lot of palettes that have this very similar color story. So for me, it really needs to stand out and wow me. Unfortunately, for me, it does not do that. It's a good palette. The reason why it doesn't wow me is because I love super high shine, super impactful, kind of metallic-y, glittery shimmers. These are a little more than your like basic everyday shimmers when they go to show up on the lid, but they're still not impactful enough for me. And again, it's a personal preference thing. The formula is nice. Their mattes blend so easy. So if you're a beginner, I don't think you'd have any issue with a palette like this. But like I said, I have other palettes that have this color story, or at least part of this color story in my collection. I don't really need to keep it if it's not wowing me, and it's just not wowing me, unfortunately. So yeah, I'm gonna say it now. This is most likely not gonna last in my next declutter, unfortunately. It's a shame. I mean, you know, I had the same issue last month with their blue palette. Just the shimmers are just not my preference. That's all it is. I like, you know, my indie. I'm spoiled with my indie brand, which I don't know. I think Moonlight Beauty might be an indie brand too. I'm not sure. But I'm really spoiled with like my Bella Beauty bar and my Singe Beauty and my Gourmand Girls and all of those, because they are super high impact shimmers, which I love. If I'm putting on makeup and eyeshadow, I want it to be seen. So yeah, if you like kind of more like everyday, neutral, warm, cool tone, I think this is a good palette for you. Just not for me. Okay, so now let's move on to, well, I had another eyeliner that's chosen, and again, I didn't get around to using it. I'm just not a big eyeliner person. I get frustrated with them because I have a hard time trying to do it, and I'm trying to learn because I have very hooded eyes, and it's harder to do eyeliner on a hooded eye. I will say the couple times I have used eyeliner, these eyeliner gel pots from Melt, they are very nice. They are very creamy and pretty easy to use. So I did use this at one point. I think it was in my Bailey Sarian. Yeah, it was in my Bailey Sarian video where I did a green look and I did a wing with this. It did perform really nicely. I do need to use it though to make sure that it's not dried out or anything. Typically theirs don't dry out. I'm looking at it though. It looks like it might be separated, so I am going to have to try it to make sure. But yeah, sorry I didn't get around to using this. It just happens. Mascara. So the mascara that was chosen, and this was new to my collection. This is the L'Oreal Telescopic Extensionist Mascara. So I bought this because it got good reviews and I kept hearing all the hype around it. I don't like it. It's too wet of a formula for me. So the first time I applied it, normally I like these like thinner brushes. This one has a bit of a weird curve to it too. So not a big fan of how the brush is shaped, because it's like very thin on one side and more like a little bit longer on this side, right? But the first time I applied this, it clumped all over one whole over one whole side of my lashes. So then I had to go back through with a lash comb and try to fix it. And I mean, I like really had to go in with the lash comb. Normally I only have to go through like once or twice to get like clumps out, but this like caked on so bad it looked horrible, and it took me forever to kind of get it to look normal. If I continue to keep this, I think I'd probably keep it to do like my lower lashes, just simply because it has this side with the little tiny brush wand, I guess you would call it. But yeah, I definitely have way better mascaras in my collection. It shocked me because I typically like L'Oreal mascaras, but I don't like this one at all. Okay, so moving on, let's get into the lip products. Obviously, I already talked about the lip balm. So the lip liners that I have that were chosen one is from ColourPop and one is from NYX. So the ColourPop lippy pencil is in the shade NYX, and not NYX, in the shade Brink. So the ColourPop lippy pencil is in the shade Brink. Love this. I love the new pencils too, because I talked about it in the past. The older packaging, they would fall out after you sharpen them, which was annoying. I haven't had that problem with any of these. I haven't had to sharpen this one yet because it's new. I just replaced all the old ones with the shades I wanted to get. But yeah, really love ColourPop's formula. Now, they're not long lasting because they are very creamy. So I will say that. So if you're looking for a super long lasting lip liner, this is not going to be that for you. This is a very creamy formula. But I love how it looks. It looks beautiful. Specifically with the lip combo I did with their other product, the ColourPop Glowing Lip. It's from their Muppets collection. This is Warm Up Guy. Very nice. I'm a little concerned though with these because they're starting to smell. They're smelling a little almost kind of waxy, and I don't really remember if they originally smelled that way. But so far, and they're still performing, they have a nice like creamy glowy lip to them. So very nice. Love these two products. But if you want something long lasting, this is not going to be a long lasting lip combo. Now if you want something a little more long lasting, this next set here that I did a lip combo with, the NYX Line Loud Lip Pencil in Ambition Statement. Very nice formula, and these last a while. I've eaten at least a couple meals without it coming off on me. And then of course the Melt lipsticks. This is I think this is an ultra matte formula. Yes, and this is the shade Ho is Life. Not a huge fan of the name because like someone asked me what lipstick I'm wearing. I don't really want to say that, but I love and I hate Melt's lipstick formula. It applies a little bit dry, some of them. This one doesn't, but some of them do. So I kind of have to finesse them a little bit. But I will say that they are long lasting when you apply them. I haven't really had any issues with these coming completely off on me when I'm eating or drinking. So yeah, these two together was a pretty long lasting lip combo. Loved it. Now, what made it not last as long is when I would top it with a gloss. Obviously that's going to happen because you're putting a gloss over something matte. So this is my Lunar Beauty Soul lip gloss. I love Lunar Beauty's lip glosses. They just give a nice, beautiful, sheeny glow to the lips that just make them look nice and plump and juicy. Every single one that I have, I love. So definitely continue to use. But obviously, like I said, if you want long lasting, you're not going to put a gloss over these. So there's that. But love those combos. Let me think here. I think the last things are the fingernail polish and the fragrance. Let me grab the fingernail polish and I'll be right back. Alright, so the fingernail polish that was chosen for the month, and this is something new I started doing because I inputted the majority of my fingernail polish. I think I still have about 30 or 40 more I need to do. But this was one that I inputted in, and this is from Essie, and this is the shade Be Them All. I do have it on my nails. Now these nails are from Shop Miss A. They are like the clear press-on nails that you can paint yourself, which is what I did. So I used this to paint them and then used their Speed Setter top coat. I really like Essie's fingernail polish. I do wish that they would do some more shimmer glitter formulas, because they mostly have like cream matte-esque formulas, mostly cream solid shades. So I wish they would do some more shiny glittery shades too. But I don't really have, majority of the Essie I have used, I really don't have much issues with. Now this one can be a little bit streaky. That could be because this is one that I got at a discount store and it could have been old, so that could be the reason why. But this has about 3 coats to get this color, and it's described as a dirty vibrant orange. So yeah, I would say, I don't know about the dirty part, but definitely vibrant, kind of corally orange leaning, very, very summer shade. Really nice. Love the color. I think it's really pretty, and I'm usually not a big orange fan, but this I like. I think it's kind of like that perfect like coral peachy-esque orange. But yeah, definitely like Essie's formulas. Like I said, this one was a little streaky to start, but could just be because it was older. Alright, moving on, the last thing is the fragrance, and the fragrance that was chosen is a Britney Spears Fantasy. This is the Intimate Edition. Love the packaging. I've always kind of loved these bottles that she does. Very nice mister. I love all my Britney fragrances. I own pretty much the majority of hers, if not almost all. But the notes on it are, the top notes are lychee, Italian lemon, violet leaf. The middle notes are brown sugar, ozonic notes, Jeanette, I think it is, or Gannett, G-E-N-E-T, jasmine, and lily of the valley. And the base notes are vanilla, white musk, heliotrope, and benzoin. So I will say this one, let me spray it here. This one is a bit stronger than at first initial spray than a lot of the Britney Fantasy ones I own, because you kind of get the alcohol smell when you first spray it. I think that's because the musk in it is coming off very strong to begin with, which is kind of funny considering it's called the Intimate Edition. You would think it would be a little more light smelling for that reason. But when it starts to dry down, I get more of a kind of the jasmine scent, the floral scents in it, along with the musk. I don't really get too much of the sweeter fragrances from it, like the brown sugar. I don't really get, I don't really smell the Italian lemon either. I get mostly floral from this. Typically, floral scents are not my favorite. I prefer more like sweet candy scents, but I do wear floral fragrances from time to time. So I will say I do like it. It is one of my favorites. You know, the bottles and everything. But I will say it's not one of the ones. Let me rephrase. I'm not going to say it's one of my favorites out of the fantasy collections. It's definitely one of the ones that's going to be towards the bottom that I'm going to reach for, just because simply it is a little too floral musky for me. But I will reach for it when I want that. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So, like I said, you know, like I've said before, fragrance is very personal. And not everything smells the same on how it dries down on everybody. And not everybody smells the same notes in fragrances. Like, you can kind of get, like, main notes a lot of times that smell kind of similar, but not everybody likes the same smells as well. So, I know there's a lot of people who review fragrances, but I could never be that person, just simply because I know that so many people have so many different preferences that, like, I don't feel comfortable going, well, you know, I like it or I hate it, so therefore you will like it or you'll hate it, you know? You can kind of say the same thing with makeup as well, but you can point out how things perform on your skin tone, and, like, how someone may have more texture than someone else, or wrinkles and things like that that people have that are similar. I don't know. I'm digressing, getting off on a tangent there, but anyways. Alright, so those are my thoughts for all of the products that the Roulette Wheel picked for the month of July. Stay tuned. The Roulette Wheel has already been filmed for the picks for the month of August. And stay tuned for that. That will probably go up probably after, maybe before, you know, depends on, like I said before, editing and which one I get edited first. But yeah, stay tuned for that to see what gets picked for August. Again, really enjoying these, and you guys seem to be enjoying them as well. And again, if you guys are doing something like this as well, so that you can use products already in your collection, let me know in the comments down below. I'd really appreciate it. Okay guys, again, like and subscribe down below. It really helps me out and I would appreciate it. Until next time guys, bye.